Beth, naturalist with the Johnny Appleseed Park District. I have a challenge for you. I have brought in some different items from my house, put them out on the table over here, and we're going to take a look at them. Your challenge is to decide if the item came somehow from a tree or if it didn't. Okay, let's get started. Okay, campers, here's all the random items I brought in from my house. See if you can decide if somehow something in it comes from a tree. So I've got crayons and shoe polish. This is an outdoor carpet adhesive. This is an outdoor adhesive and sealant. Printer ink, suntan lotion. I've got cloves and nutmeg and cinnamon. I've got some nuts, pine nuts, almonds, buckeyes, an apple, a banana. This is a container that used to have apple cider in it. So I want you to think about the apple cider, not the container. Paint thinner, chewing gum, a rubber stopper. This is a container that used to have maple syrup in it. Focus on the maple syrup instead of the container. Let's see. A leather wallet, a baseball, a cork bottle stopper, bulletin board. I've got some newspaper, magazine, copy paper, wrapping paper, toilet paper, cardboard box, a basket, a garden trowel, some pieces of wood, eyeglasses, a sponge, and a piece of carpet. So what do you think? Do any of these items come from trees or parts of the tree? Let's go through and talk about them. Now, I think most people know that wood comes from trees. So anything made from wood, whether it's your house or doors in your house or the floors in your house or furniture or kayak paddles or baskets or baseball bats, all come from trees. In the case of the garden trowel, it's got a wooden handle. So that all would have come from trees. I think most people know that paper comes from trees as well. It's actually made from cellulose, which is a part of the tree that helps keep it rigid and supports it. It's kind of a compound inside the tree. Cellulose is gotten from recycled paper, wood chips, and sawdust, and then it's used to make things like paper and things made out of paper, like magazines and newspapers and wrapping paper and toilet paper and cardboard. Cellulose can also be used and mixed with chemicals to make molded plastic. Things like the plastic frames of eyeglasses, steering wheels, hairbrush handles, all contain cellulose. Also, carpet is made from cellulose. It's mixed with chemicals and then squeezed and twisted into fibers. So things like carpet, some fabrics like rayon are made from cellulose. Wigs, too, for people to have on their head. And then these kind of sponges are made with cellulose. In fact, there's a brand called Ocello, and it gets its name from the cellulose. All right, let's see. Some things come from barks of different kinds of trees. Cork comes from the bark from a cork tree. So cork bottle stoppers and bulletin boards actually come from the bark. Baseballs have a cork center, so that comes from a tree as well. Trees also produce something called tannins, which are used to process leather. So anything made from leather, like this leather wallet, comes from a chemical taken from tree bark. There's also a medicine called quinine, which is used to prevent and cure malaria, and that comes from a tree bark. All right, how about this sort of stuff? The next few items, believe it or not, come from tree sap, which is sometimes called gums or resins or latex. So paints and paint thinners have sap, tree sap in it. Chewing gum does. We've got maple syrup, which is made from the sap of a maple tree. Items that are made from rubber can be made from the rubber or the sap from a rubber tree. Now, a lot of rubber items nowadays are made man-made, manufactured, but in the early days, they would be made from the latex from a rubber tree. All right. How about a banana and an apple? Those are fruits that come from trees. Apple cider comes from trees, and we know that seeds and nuts can come from trees. So pine nuts come from pine trees. Almonds are a type of nut from the almond tree. Buckeyes come from a buckeye tree. We can't eat those as humans, but animals can, and they love them. Did you know that certain spices come from trees? Cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves do. Now, we're used to seeing it as just a powder that you can shake onto your oatmeal or whatever, your toast that you like. But let me show you, I'm going to take you over here. Let me show you what the actual spice looks like in whole form. This is nutmeg. It's an actual nut. And when you make the powdered nutmeg, you just, you turn it into the powder. The cinnamon comes from the inner bark of a cinnamon tree. This is actually a piece of the bark. And then it's just turned into the powder. And the cloves are, let me show you one up really close. They are little tree buds. Isn't that interesting? And they're dried and then crunched up to become the powder that we're used to seeing. So those spices come from the tree. There are lots of other products that come from trees. All these last products, inks and shoe polish and crayons and sun lotion and adhesives, all have certain chemicals that come from trees. So mind blown! Who would have thought that things like carpet and crayons and sun lotion all somehow come from trees? My goodness, trees sure are very important to us. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon. Bye.